I'm pregnant with the villain's child. He married me only to protect the heroine, and yet he subjected me to cruel torment. I gave birth to the child and ran away. Years later, I'm at a bar trying to pick up a handsome guy. The place suddenly gets raided, and everyone inside is blocked from leaving. The aloof, dangerous man gives a cold smile and pats the child beside him on the head. Go on, call her mommy. The bar was having a promotion that night, so it was crowded. When I walked in, everyone called out, Boss lady! At the counter sat a man in a white shirt. He looked kinda lost. I went over and made the first move. Picking up troubled pretty boys is kinda my thing. I bought him a drink. He looked at me and shyly looked away. We chatted a bit. He got flustered easily. His ears turned red before we'd even said much. He said he just graduated, and work wasn't going well. Perfect. My bar was exactly short of good-looking waiters. How about I find you a job, sweetie? I promise you'll make more than you do now. My bar had plenty of rich, older women. Tips were never a problem. The man looked at me, surprised. Just as I was about to add him on WhatsApp, a commotion broke out at the entrance. Before I could react, a fleet of black cars surrounded the place. Bodyguards in suits blocked the doors. I realized my bar was being raided. When I saw the license plate of the lead car, my blood ran cold for a second. I quickly hit the panic button, then turned and ran for the back door. The back alley door was already open. A familiar figure leaned against his car, flipping an old metal lighter. Scarlett, you've run so many times and you still haven't learned a thing. Damien lifted his eyes slowly. A faint smile touched his lips, but it was chilling. I've known since high school that I was inside a book. I was the evil side character. In the future, I'd obsess over the male lead, Christian Hawthorne, and cause trouble all the time. I'd hurt the heroine, Vivian Ashford, so badly she'd never play the piano again. The villain, Damien Blackthorne, would hold a grudge. He'd marry me just to torment me. In the end, I'd end up paralyzed, living out my days in a mental hospital. A pathetic end. After I woke up to the truth, I worked hard to push the male and female leads together. Because of that, Damien grew to hate me. Through a twist of fate, I got pregnant after one night with him. Even after marrying me, Damien still wore that same cold, world-weary look. If it weren't for the baby, he probably would have already tortured me to a sorry state, just like in the book. 4 years ago. On the day I gave birth, I planned my escape. In the operating room, the moment the baby's cry rang out, it was also the sound of my freedom. I'd run for so long, I never thought Damien would still find me. Bar patrons scattered in panic. But that handsome young man stepped in front of me to shield me. Miss, are they here to cause you trouble? Don't be scared. I'll call the police. I gave a bitter smile and stopped him. It was useless. In business or politics, nobody dared to cross Damien. Damien stared at us, his gaze turning even colder. A little boy stepped out of the Maybach. His expression was eerily calm for a kid his age. Damien patted his shoulder. Go on, call her mommy. A miniature version of Damien hesitated for a few seconds, then came over to me. He didn't speak. He just quietly studied me. Was this my baby? He'd gotten so tall. In that moment, 100 emotions churned inside me, and I felt like crying. The young man beside me stared, wide-eyed. Miss, you already have a kid. She also has a husband, Damien's cold voice cut in. Under his dark stare, the man shrank back and didn't dare say another word. Damien took me away. Through the car window, he stared at all the good-looking staff in my bar. Scarlett, you've got some nerve. Won't raise your own child, but you'll run this far to raise a bunch of men? The coldness in his eyes could have frozen me solid. I swallowed hard. Damien, just let me go. I won't bother you ever again. Back in high school, I'd had no choice but to tear up a letter Damien wrote, all to stop the heroine from getting together with the male lead. Damien had held that grudge for 6 years. He shot me a glance. Begging for mercy already? It's too early for that. He loved the feeling of toying with his prey. Back then, he'd locked me in a villa and cut off all my contact with friends. I never wanted to live that caged life again. The car started moving. The scenery outside the window blurred past. Panicked, I looked at him. Damien, I'm not going back. My daughter's waiting for me at home. His eyes turned sharp. He grabbed my arm in disbelief. We're not even divorced yet, and you're already with some other man. Damien was furious. He took me back to his hillside villa in the capital and locked me inside. Our son Sebastian hadn't said a word the whole trip. When he got home, he just played quietly with his blocks, occasionally glancing my way. Soon, Damien's assistant brought Aurora over, my daughter. The moment she saw me, her eyes turned red and she ran over. "Mommy, who are these people? I'm scared." Damien looked at the little girl who had the same eyes as me. He frowned slightly. "How old is she?" 3. I lied. The truth was, 4 years ago, I'd had twins. But to make running away easier, I'd only taken one. I took my daughter, because years of news stories had taught me that a girl is safer raised by her mother. I was sent to live with my aunt and uncle as a child. I was always bullied by my older cousins. That was why I'd gotten so attached to the male lead's gentle kindness. Later, I woke up and realized I didn't actually like him. I was just longing for the warmth he'd shown me back then. Damien's eyes turned icy cold. "You've been gone barely a year, and you've already found someone new?" "Scarlett, you've got guts." Aurora huddled in my arms, too scared to even look at that cold-faced, scary uncle. She whispered softly, "Mommy, let's go. I want to find Uncle Julian." "Shh. We'll leave in a couple of days, sweetie." I tried to soothe her. The man in front of me looked so grim, his face could have dripped water. At dinner, Aurora was really scared at first, but when she realized she was sitting next to Sebastian, she started talking to him. "Hey, mister, were you brought here by that scary uncle too?" "Hey, mister, do you know where this is?" "Hey, mister, are you there? You feel really familiar, you know?" Sebastian didn't answer, but she happily kept chattering away. Aurora had always been a little chatterbox. Sebastian looked at her bright, lively eyes. After a few seconds of silence, he picked up the last shrimp on his plate and put it on hers. "Eat." A low, tiny little voice. Damien couldn't help but glance at him. Damien told me Sebastian had a mild form of autism. He was very smart, but he just didn't like interacting with the outside world. Damien had tried so hard to find me, probably for Sebastian's mental health. Looking at Sebastian's silent profile, I felt a wave of guilt wash over me. The room Aurora and I were staying in was already ready. It took some effort to get Aurora to sleep. As I left the children's room, my phone lit up. It was Julian calling. He was my neighbor, a manager at a racing club. A very gentle, considerate guy. I stepped out onto the balcony to take the call. His anxious voice came through. "The kindergarten said someone picked up Aurora. Aren't you in Brighton working right now? Is she with you?" "Yes, she's with me." I vaguely explained that I wasn't in Brighton at the moment. I asked him to look after my bar and promised him a cut of the profits. Julian laughed softly. "After everything that's happened, you're still bringing up money? Are you sure you're okay? You don't need my help?" "I'm fine, and thank you for looking after Aurora all this time." "Don't mention it." He paused for a couple of seconds, then pressed further. "Scarlett, are you coming back to Brighton?" I opened my mouth, but didn't know what to say. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught a reflection on the balcony door. Damien was leaning against the door frame behind me. I had no idea how long he'd been standing there. I quickly said goodbye to Julian and hung up. "What? Was that him calling? Does he know he's the other man?" Damien's cold voice demanded. The smell of alcohol wafted from him. I met his dark eyes. That feeling of being watched by some gloomy, slimy creature was back. Damien was the stepson of the Shen family. Probably because of his miserable childhood, he'd grown into a dark, ruthless man. Anything he set his sights on couldn't escape. "None of your business." "Damien, what's the point of dragging this out? Let's just get a divorce." "I'll pretend none of this happened. Have your lawyer draw up the papers." I tried to brush past him, pretending to be calm. I hadn't taken more than a few steps. A strong force grabbed me. Expressionless, Damien pulled me into the study. Click. The lock engaged. He sat me down on the desk. I struggled a little, and he used his leg to pin mine. The position was way too intimate. It made my whole body stiffen. I felt like Damien was somehow different from before. The old Damien only had eyes for Vivian, and he hated touching me. His handsome, perfect face leaned close to mine. "Scarlett, in your dreams." "I let you go so you can run off and play house with another man?" I glared at him. Just as I was about to retort, he bit down. Damien held the back of my head, refusing to let me pull away. Deep and hard. Was he drunk? He was kissing me. I whimpered and bit his lip hard enough to draw blood. Damien didn't let go. Instead, he grabbed my waist and pulled me towards him. His warm body pressed against mine. My eyes widened. I tried to escape. Damien loosened his tie and wound it around my wrists. He moved slowly, deliberately. His dark eyes watched me struggle, the light in them growing intense. "Scarlett. Cheating on me? Ready to pay the price?"